Okay, guys, one thing we talked about a little bit last semester and we started very briefly and then we didn't do much with it after that was working on some um, movement on our promo cards. So I'm going to show you kind of what I'm talking about. This was one that we had created. Um, and it was just kind of I think the girls had a game coming up or whatever. So it was just a GIF that it's a movie file, but we turned it into a GIF that replayed and replayed, and we put it out on our TV in the Commons. We posted it on Facebook, that kind of stuff. So one thing I thought that we could maybe try and do, and I don't know, it doesn't have to be exactly this, but I'm just brainstorming, is we could create things similar to what I had of Carly, of the different maybe senior spring sport athletes. So how you do this is you create a new document. I could have had this done to show you, sorry. And you put whatever you want to be stationary on a PSD file. So I'm just trying to think of, I'm just going to write Carly's name because that's who I have in my um, head. And I don't, but you could do whoever is a spring sport athlete. So Carly Jones, and she runs track or whatever. I mean, this would obviously be like way better designed. Um, and then maybe you just have like a, box over here. I don't know. I'm doing this really fast. Okay. Then when you're done with this and you have this all finished, a few things that you're going to really want to make sure to do is to name your layers, okay? And I'm going to show you just a few things. I'm going to get the brush tool and make just a few lines here so I can kind of show you um, what this might look like. Um, Everything that you're going to want to move, you're going to want to be on a different layer. So you can see here like this rectangle one, instead of having that, I might say orange rectangle, especially if I have a bunch of different rectangles, right? Or this one is my top black line, and this one is my bottom black line. That's just going to help me once I get into Premiere. So we'll get this done. I'll file save. I'm going to call this Carly background. I'm going to keep it as a PSD file. I'm just going to save it to my desktop for now. Then I'm going to go into Premiere and I am going to get the things that I want moving in and do that in Premiere. So I'm going to go to a new project. I'm going to call this Carly Track Test. Okay, and now a lot of you have not used Premiere before, but this is a good challenge to learn it. So Premiere is the purple square down on your dock. Okay, this is where you start to import your media. So I'm going to double click on here and I'm going to find my PSD file. I'm going to press import. And now there's some different ways we can do this. If I merge all the layers, it turns that PSD file into a JPEG, so it's no longer I can't edit it anymore. If I do individual layers, then all the layers come separately and I have to line them up. One fun thing we can do is click on sequence, and I'm going to show you what that does. So you can see it has all my layers there. They're all listed. I can press OK, and it gives it to me in a folder. Okay, so this is my timeline, like on iMovie, when you bring your stuff down and that's like where you edit. I'm going to just bring this folder in and it looks like this. Okay, so here's my little cursor, my timeline, and it just goes through a sequence of all my different layers. Okay, what I'm going to do is remove all, the purple is the separate layers, so I'm going to click and drag and delete all these, and then here's my sequence, and I'm going to move this back to the start. Okay, so here I have my file that I created. Okay, there's two things that I can do. So one thing I can do is double click on here, and it brings it into a new tab over here. If I press the plus key or the like where the equal sign is, it makes it just so I can see it more. So I can see now that this right here is going to last for 5 seconds. Okay, here's the 2-second mark, 4-second, halfway through 4 and 6 is obviously 5. Okay, so what I can do is decide where I want it to look how it is now. So I'm going to say by the time it gets to 2 seconds, I want it to look like this. Okay, so I'm going to click on each layer. And remember, this is confusing, so you can stop this, pause this, rewatch this as many times as you want. But I'm going to click on each layer, okay? I'm going to start with the bottom black line, and I'm going to click up here. These are my effect controls, and I'm going to hit the down arrow on motion, and I want at the 2-second mark this to be the position that that line's in. I'm going to do the same thing for the top black line. I'm going to mark its position, and the orange rectangle, and the word track, and the word Carly Jones. Okay, and I can leave the background how it is. Okay, then I'm going to move my cursor back, and I'm going to say, when this starts, I want to start having all these things move in. So I'm going to start with that bottom black line, and I'm going to highlight it so I'm working on that layer. I'm going to click on the word motion, and now I can move this black line wherever I want it. Okay, so at the 0 mark, or right at the beginning, that black line is not there. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the top black line. Maybe I want to move it the other way so they slide in different directions. Okay, maybe the orange rectangle, I want to come in from the bottom. Maybe the Carly Jones, I want to come in from the top, or maybe just, oh sorry, I'm on track, I guess, okay, from that side, and then I want Carly Jones to come in from this side. And then what I can do is move my cursor all the way over, I can press the space bar, and I can watch them slide in, okay? So you can see now, oops, sorry, I don't think I had it all the way, maybe I didn't quite get Carly Jones on there, but you can kind of see how that goes. I can go then back to my original layer, press the space bar, and it will move it in for me. I must not have gotten Carly Jones back in there, okay? The cool thing about this is if I'm watching this and I'm going, oh my gosh, she doesn't run track, she plays golf. I can go back to Photoshop, change this to golf, press save. I just did Command S to save. And now when I go back here, now it has changed. So now it's right. So this is really nice because it can save you the time of saving a JPEG, bringing it into iMovie, that kind of stuff. Okay. Maybe I decide, you know what, I want to have a picture of Carly in there. And I don't need her to be moving. I don't need to have a video file of her. I just want her to be moving. Okay? So I think I have one of it. Just a second. So I have, let me get under there. I know this is a basketball one. I get that. Oh, and it's Sarah, but that's okay. So maybe I want her over here. Okay, and I can do save. And now when I do it and go back to Premiere, now she's in there. And I press, oh, listen, I gotta save. Well, you know what? I wonder if because I did a sequence, she's not going to be in there. Okay, so I bet she can't be on her own layer, maybe. Let me try and... Let me try and think just a second. Okay, so maybe you can't bring in a different layer. I thought you could, but maybe you'd have to have that done at the beginning, okay? So I'm going to just take her out of there so we're back to what we were. I'm going to press save, going to go back to Premiere. So then the other thing you can do is bring in a video file of her there. So what we can do, it could either be like something that is like on the one I showed you of Carly, I had a basketball moving, or it could be her talking. So it could say like, "Hi, I'm Carly Jones. I am a senior on the golf team this year. This is my 4th year playing. Go Tigers." You know, you could have those kids come in, and when they take their picture, they could also just do a quick introduction of who they are. So what I need to do is double click here again, and then I need to find that video file that I have. So I'm going to just see if I have a video file I can bring in. Let's see if I have that basketball still. I think I had just Googled basketball, moving basketball on a green screen. Okay, and so what I can do now is put this in this area. So I'm going to put this on top of what I have already. Okay, I'm going to use my plus key to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to put this back so it's just as long as the Carly part is. Okay, and what I need to do is click on this layer, and now I need to go to the motion and start figuring out how big I want this to be. So the scale, maybe I want the scale to be 300. I want the basketball to be big, or maybe that's too big, so I have to scale it back a little bit. Okay, this is your position. So it's at 1650 now. If I go to 1500, it moves it over a little bit. That's not enough, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going until I have it in the right spot. Okay, maybe I want it to be towards the top or the bottom. It's at 1275 now. If I put it at 1500, it goes down. If I move it the other way, it goes up. Okay. Right now, it's on a green screen, so you can do some things to get your green screen out of there. Another thing, though, that I have found that's kind of interesting is working with the opacity. So one thing I can do is create a mask that goes around so all you see is the basketball. So I'm going to click on this, and now I can start moving this out a little bit so that all you see is where the basketball is. And this is a glow on here, so the farther this second line is out, the farther it like, let's see, gotta get this around. It looks kind of like opaque on the outside. So I don't know if you guys watched the hype video or the for wrestling or for basketball, but I had this where they kind of faded out. That's what this line is for. So the more that I bring the second line out, the more that it fades out. So you can see there's that green fader on there. In this case, we wouldn't want it. I'm going to put this down just a little bit so that I can see what I'm doing a little more because it's going outside the screen. Okay, this is not going to be perfect. I'm not going to spend my time right now getting this perfect for you, but you can see now that when I do this and I press my space bar, you can see that this basketball should be moving. And I think my computer is just being a little bit glitchy here, but so what will happen is you'll have your lines move in and the basketball will be moving. Sometimes because I have too many things open on my computer, see, it's just not going to quite work for me. But this will work on yours, especially if you're using the two big computers. This basketball will be moving and your lines will be coming in. So you can decide, do you want this moving basketball to be the person talking? Do you want the person just to be an image? And what's moving in is like your letters. You can go and look on different websites, like Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts. I know Iowa State does a lot of these. Boone TV does quite a few of them. Go look and get some inspiration of how we can make these look really neat. Once I'm done here, I'm just going to go File and Save. And I'm going to just save this. File, Save As. And I'm going to just go and I'm going to save this to my desktop. And I want it to be a movie file. Okay. That will save my project. Once I want it to be done, then I'm going to go to File, Export Media. I want this to be QuickTime. I want this to be the 1080i 2997. Okay, and then all I do is press Export, and it will start saving. It will save right to my desktop.